Christmas is meant to bring people together, but come December the 25th, you might find yourself sitting across the table from someone with a very different outlook on life. You might think that they're too politically correct, they might think your jokes are kinda sexist. You might think their generation has left a mess, they might think young people are entitled and avocado toast is what's keeping you out of the housing market. So what happens if someone says something that you find offensive? Do you call them out on it or try to keep the peace? Before you do anything, follow these expert tips. Lauren Roseware, a senior lecturer at the University of Melbourne, told us she's conflicted about this issue as she's someone who generally avoids confrontation. However, she said there are times when it's necessary to speak up. If you're genuinely offended, and not just third-party offense by proxy, then I think the best way I'd suggest to handle it is framing it along the lines of, "I am upset when you say things like that." She says doing this makes it about what the comments do to you on a personal level, and stops it from just being you on a high horse. Matthew Beard, a fellow at the Ethics Center, said you should also ask yourself if the comments were actually offensive or just annoying. There's a difference between something that grates on our nerves and something that contradicts our values and principles, or those of the community, he said. If they were it, Dr. Beard said it might be better to simply explain and educate, maybe when they're slightly more sober. But if the comments are obnoxious or mean-spirited, that changes things, especially if they directly affect someone else at the table. He said it might be easier for you to speak up as a bystander than for them to defend themselves. So your efforts to correct him might not be appreciated. But Dr. Beard said it might still be worth speaking up. You might not be able to change someone's mind, but you might be able to change the subject, get them to shut up, or simply show them that their comments aren't shared by everyone at the table. That's still a difference, he said. The question then becomes whether speaking out is the best way to achieve that goal, or whether a bit of social nous and imagination could get the same result in a less combative way. For Dr. Beard, it's a balancing act. He points to former Army Chief David Morrison's famous principle, the standard you walk past is the standard you accept, but also notes you can't fight a war on every front. If we were able to maintain the relationship, we might be able to help the other person change gradually, from a position of care and compassion, as well as keep the peace and preserve the connection, he said. Dr. Roseware said you shall't pretend you're a babe in the woods. For some families, sex and politics and religion will never have a comfortable place at the table. For others, there'll be no meals without an enthusiastic STOUSH, she said. She says you should do your best to stay clear of sensitive topics and come prepared with some neutral topics, family, work, weather, that can help steer things back on track. You'd have to agree with someone to understand why they think the way they do.